Happy Flame Day, everybody. We're going to kick it off like we always do with the Blue Flame theme song, Contagious, by yours truly, Claretta Haddon Jackson, on Blue Flame Moments Radio Show.
Right here on the Blue Flame Moments Radio Show with Claretta Haddon Jackson.
Hey, Mama! Claretta's on the radio!
It's wonderful that we have a Father that knows exactly what we need. Here's James Fortune with I Am.
I have everything I need. I have everything I need. Thank you, Jesus. I have everything I need.
Because the great I am.
The great I am provides for me.
right here on the Blue Flame Moments radio show with Claretta Haddon Jackson.
Yes, that was James Fortune with I Am. And it's time for the Indie Spotlight.
Hello, this is Minister James Willis from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And I'm excited to share my music with you. And you can learn more about me on all social media, on my Twitter page and on my Facebook page. And next up is my song, Free to Worship. So keep it locked right here on Blue Flame Moments radio show with Claretta Haddon Jackson.
The Bible says who the Son set free is free indeed. Come on, be free. Feel like dance. When I think about what it's done for me. When the music starts, I feel your spirit. Yeah. Praise you. Free to worship you, God. I want to be free to live in you. Come on, say, oh, yeah. Free to worship. Free to lift my hand. Free to do my dance, y'all. Yeah. Do my favorite part. I just want to shout.
Hey y'all, this is Patrick Coleman from Beans and Cornbread in Southfield, Michigan, the heart and soul of Southern cooking, and you're tuned in to Blue Flame Moments with Claretta Haddon Jackson.
Blue Flame Moments radio show.
Your weekly source for inspiration.
With Claretta Haddon Jackson.
And it's time to release the word of the day. Today's word is never forget. Deuteronomy 4:9 says it like this, but watch out, be careful, never to forget what you yourself have seen. Do not let these memories escape from your mind as long as you live, and be sure to pass them on to your children and grandchildren. Hey, here it is, guys. As believers, we have the responsibility of teaching our children to know, love, and serve and reverence God. But many of us ignore the need to teach them history, culture, and the value of it. Don't be so caught up in spiritual things or even surviving the day-to-day that we forget our own history and the importance of sharing that history with our children. Sadly, many of us can't trace our lineage beyond 2 to 3 generations. Let's make the decision today to make it our business to share the wealth of wisdom, knowledge, and heritage, both spiritual and natural, with our children. And I believe that will have a positive effect on their development of self-worth, their behavior, and their life decisions. And you can take that word to the bank. My guest today is using his business to educate and remind the masses. Help me welcome the owner of Beans and Cornbread, who in my estimation is one of the best Detroit-based soul food bistros in the game. Welcome, Mr. Patrick Coleman. What's up, Patrick?
Hey, Claretta, how you doing? Thank you for that wonderful introduction. How are you today?
I'm blessed and I'm excited to be able to talk to you. We have experienced your amazing food firsthand, so I'm excited to be able to share who you are, where you are, and what you're doing on this show right now.
Well, thank you very much. You know, my grandmother would always tell me, to whom much is given, much is expected. And that really means that, you know, folks like myself, we've been in the restaurant business for 23 years. It's incumbent upon us to not only feed folks, but to serve folks. And what I mean by that is we have to serve our community. We are a cornerstone of this community right outside of Detroit in Southfield. And so, you know, what we decided to do 3 years ago, Claretta, we decided to sort of go back to the Jim Crow era and just bring some knowledge about what our forebears went through during Jim Crow. I mean, we stand on those folks' shoulders, And a lot of times it's so easy to, get caught up into complaining and talking about what we don't have and what we aren't able to do. But if you go back just a generation, and I am just one generation removed from Jim Crow, those folks had less liberties. They had, they had less opportunities. And you know what? I thought it would be really a great idea if we could bring what those folks went through and celebrate it, because we can't forget that. We can't forget what they went through. So what we created was a shoebox. And I got these stories from my grandmother and my mother, and what they used to do back during the 40s and the 50s. They might jump on a train to go see relatives down in Nashville, down in Knoxville, Tennessee, and they would get on that train, that nice shiny train in Detroit, Claretta.
Mm-hmm.
And once they hit that Mason-Dixon line, they had to get on the coal-powered train. And that was a train that, where soot would come through the windows. It was a segregated train, so you had blacks in the back of the train and you had white folks in the front of the train.
Mm-hmm.
And during that trip, when it was time to eat, black folk couldn't go into the dining car because it was segregated. So what women used to do of the day, what they would lovingly do, is they would take these old shoe boxes and they would pack fried chicken, they would pack macaroni and cheese, fruit, cornbread, they baked cobbler, and they put it in these boxes. And they would take these boxes and they would adorn these boxes with string and all types of ornamental trinkets. And you know what? It was like the original lunchbox.
Wow.
And my mother, up until she was probably a teenager, never knew that it was unusual or that it was not normal to eat out of a shoebox when traveling. And they would do this whether it was getting on the train to go to Tennessee or driving south, because you couldn't walk into a chain restaurant. You couldn't walk into an independent restaurant because, once again, it was segregated. And so we take so many liberties and so many things for granted today. We can walk into a restaurant. We can walk into a restroom. And I think what I wanted to do was celebrate some of these beautiful stories. What people did, the resolve, the resiliency, the resourcefulness.
Yes, sir.
They didn't give up. They didn't say, "Oh, woe is me. We just can't eat." They did what they had to do.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we did at Beans and Cornbread.
Wow. That's so exciting. And to know that you were willing to use your place of business not only to serve, but to empower, to educate. Because a lot of times people would be in your position, would be afraid to take such a responsibility, feeling as if someone, and now we live in such a day that, if you start to stand for something, there's going to be someone who's somewhere trying to figure out how to fight against it, how to shut you down because, now you're focusing on this one thing or this one history. What about us? And what about our freedoms? And what about this? And so for you to be willing to use your business and share knowledge, share wisdom, stand for historical empowerment, it means a lot to us that are listening and that are spending time learning more about who it tells us more about who you are and your culture and how you were taught the rich history of who you are. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Blue Flame Moments with your host, Claretta Haddon Jackson, aka the Tune Doctor, and I'm chatting with the one and only Mr. Patrick Coleman. We're here to empower and share wisdom with everyone who listens to this show. So, Mr. Coleman, I want you to just take a quick moment and share something, just a line if you want, of something, a destiny word, that's what we call it, that would empower those that are listening to believe that they can reach potential, that they have possibilities, there's hope for them. I know you have something to say because you have done what you've done in Detroit and I believe that they can do it too.
Well, again, I started out by stating, to whom much is given, much is expected. And in my estimation, we are all capable of greatness. We are all capable of living our dreams. And 23 years ago, I set out to own a soul food restaurant. We're located right outside of Detroit, in a suburb called Southfield, Michigan. And at the time, I felt that there was a need for a southern cooking restaurant in the northern suburbs of Detroit. Mm-hmm. And I was told that, that wouldn't work. It was in the wrong neighborhood. It needed to be in an urban area. And I decided that I would push forward and that I would create this destination, that I would create something great. I would create a place where the community could come and enjoy food and fellowship, and families would come, celebrities would come, and that's what we created 23 years ago. So,
yes, sir.
You have to believe in yourself. Everyone is destined for greatness, and you just have to push forward. And that's what we've been doing at Beans and Cornbread for the last 23 years. This restaurant has garnered many accolades and awards. We're a five-time nominee for the Steve Harvey Neighborhood Awards. We are a perennial winner every year for several publications in Detroit as the best soul food restaurant. This restaurant has been featured on the Food Network. This restaurant has been featured in quite a few magazines. This restaurant was featured in GQ magazine as one of the new classics in October of 2019. So when you put your mind to something, you will and you can be destined for greatness. And that's everyone listening.
Hey, so Mr. Coleman, before I let you go, I would love for you to share with our Blue Flame family where they can find you.
Well, I thank you again for having me. Beans and Cornbread is located in Southfield, Michigan, and we're at 29508 Northwestern Highway, and that's once again in Southfield. Our phone number is 248-208-1680. You can also go to beanscornbread.com. You can follow us on Facebook. Again, Beans and Cornbread, go to beanscornbread.com. And Claretta, I appreciate your time today.
Oh, man, it was an honor to be able to share what you're doing right there in my hometown. It doesn't matter where I live. I'm always going to be a Detroit girl. So that girl from Detroit, Claretta Haddon Jackson. I'm so honored to be able to share a little bit of what's going on back home. Thank you so much, Mr. Coleman. All right, guys, we had a good time with Mr. Coleman. Now we're going to have a great time with some music. Up next is music at the request of our guests. Brand new music by the Clark Sisters. Victory.
We declare victory. Victory over your life.
More music after this commercial break.
It's time to overcome your suffering, and you can do that with Be Free CBD. It's a non-narcotic chemical compound which comes from the hemp plant. So if you're suffering from chronic pain, migraines, seizures, depression, and low anxiety, and you want to be free, well, one of our CBD-based products can definitely help you. Find out more, go to our website. It's BeFreeCBD.com. That's the letter B, BeFreeCBD.com.
Discounts available with your purchase by using promo code Blue Flame Moments. Now here's the top pick of the week. It's brand new music by Todd Delaney. Tablet of Your Heart. Follow it free.
Write them on up. Sing the words out. Write them on up. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me will forever be fruitful indeed. I am the way, the truth and the light. No one gets to the Father except that He comes through me. Yeah. So let not mercy and truth say forsake you. We say forsake you. Let not mercy and we say forsake. Say forsake. Say we really are the said we'll take the word and we really, really, really are the alright, y'all say it, I am the way, the truth and the light. No one gets to the Father except you go through Jesus. Tablet of your let's ratchet it out a little bit. Come on. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your mind. Trust in the Lord with all your strength. Say, hey. Lean not to your own understanding. Say, trust in the Lord. All your. Say, trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. Somebody say, lean not to your own understanding. Come on, trust in the Lord. I will lean on you, oh God. Trust in the Lord. Come on, say lean not.
To emediagc.com. Get your message instantly to thousands via email, cell phones, and social networking sites with Electronic Media Gulf Coast. emediagc.com is one of the most powerful marketing tools available to businesses of all types and all sizes. You can achieve outstanding results with emediagc.com while investing only a small amount of time and an even smaller amount of money. emediagc.com.
You just might run on this one. Here's Anthony Brown and Group Therapy with Blessings on Blessings.
It's not a drill. It's time for you to speak what you want to see. And if you with it, then repeat after me. Come on. Every time I turn around, blessings, blessings, blessings. Every time I turn around, blessings on blessings. Every time I turn around, blessings, blessings, blessings. Yeah, every time I turn around, blessings on blessings. Yes, sir. I see blessings, blessings. Every time I turn around, there will be blessings on blessings.
important for me to keep you updated on the news, so here it is.
Hi, Claretta Haddon Jackson. It's now time for Gospel News with Bobby Parker. Always letting you know the happenings inside the gospel world of today. And we're getting ready for the 51st NAACP Image Awards. It's happening this Saturday, February the 22nd, live at 8 p.m., 7 Central, only on BET for the first time. And congratulations to all of the nominees in film, TV, music, and more. Don't miss the NAACP Image Awards. Especially want to give a big congratulations to all of the gospel artists nominated for an Image Award, with outstanding gospel Christian song category like I Made It Out from Pastor John P. Key, Laughter from B.B. Winan, Love Theory from Kirk Franklin, Not Yet from Pastor Donnie McClurkin, and Victory from the Clark Sisters. Don't miss the 51st NAACP Image Awards this Saturday on BET. Hey, follow me on social media. You can go to facebook.com/Bobby Parker 2, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bobby Parker 720. And you can check out my show on my website on the BobbyParkerRadioShow.com. And now back to my sis, Claretta Haddon Jackson, on the Blue Flame Moments radio show.
Thank you, Bobby, for keeping us updated on the gospel news. Well, my loves, it's that time again. This show was brought to you by our sponsors, Next Dimension University, who is stumping out biblical illiteracy globally, and the Toon Doctor Academy, where creatives can be empowered online 24/7. This is your Destiny Coach, Claretta Haddon Jackson, reminding you that there's greatness on the inside of you. I'm here to help you take your flame from red to blue, because that's what God has chosen me to do. Don't you ever forget it. You have the ability to shine bright and win.